One, a two, a one, two, three. It's Teek's Tips. It's Teek's Tips. It's Teek's Tips. It's Teek's Tips. Hey, check me out.
Hi, welcome to Teek's Tips. I'm Atika, also known as Teek, and here are some of my tips. Today's episode will be about moving to Los Angeles. So, before we begin on the tips, I want to point out a word and what it means. The word fear. False evidence appearing real. That is what fear is. Tip number one, decide. Make a decision. Decide that you are going to make the trek to Los Angeles. When you're first figuring out if Los Angeles is the place for you, if you aren't sure that that is where you need to be, you don't have a plan, you aren't ready to make the necessary changes for the move, and you tell your friends about it or your family, they will project their own fears onto you. And if you're not strong in your decision, you're going to fold and you're going to follow their fears. And their fears are going to stop you from making one of the greatest decisions of your life, going to a place that I'm sure you dreamed about for a long time. Decide and commit. Tip number two, save but don't stress. To avoid all the couch surfing and moving from this friend's house to the next friend's house, which is what I did for an entire year, I would say to save as much as you can. If you can save up to 5K, between $3,000 and $5,000, that's ideal. However, if you don't reach your goal, do not allow that to stop you. Don't allow that to stop you from going to California. I saved $1,250. I did couch surf for a year, as I mentioned. I lived in a couch and a whole bunch of other places, but I didn't allow that amount to stop me. And there's other ways to get money. If you're somebody who's coming to California with a dream, you may find people who want to invest in you. I was able to raise that money through GoFundMe. So save, but don't stress. Tip number three, buy your plane ticket. Simple. Once you buy that plane ticket, you know that it is happening. You're going to make the trek 3,000 miles, however far away California may be from you. You're going to make that trip because you bought the plane ticket. When it became real for me is when I was at work. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, I'm going to California. And he's like, yeah, whatever, we'll see. And I said, you know what, I'm going to show you. And I decided to buy my one-way ticket. And once I bought that one-way ticket, it was real. There was no turning back. I already invested in myself. So invest in yourself and buy your plane ticket. Tip number four, have a job or a gig lined up for you where you know you're going to get a return. You're getting some money in. When I first moved here, I worked in a call center for $11 an hour. Now, did I want to do that or be there? Heck no. But it allowed me to have a check coming in as I got acclimated with this new city. So have a gig, have something, have some type of money, some type of anything set up where you know you're going to be making some money. Tip number five, do some research. Now, this is important because if you don't plan to drive right away, Los Angeles is a driving city. And if you come from a metropolitan area like myself, I come from New York City, and obviously people drive there, but it's not preferred. People take the train most of the time. If you come from a place like that, you aren't going to be, either you don't have your license or you're not used to driving. So you're going to be doing what you're accustomed to doing. So do your research, figure out where you're living, if it's close to trains, if it's accessible to the metro lines and everything like that. You want to be able to get around at least your first couple of months to a year when you first move out here. So do your research. Number six, this is important because Los Angeles can feel like a lonely place. Tip number six is find your community. When you find people who like-minded individuals who came here with a purpose and know why they came here, and they can feed into you the same way that you can feed into them, you start to gain a tribe. And that's important because we have our families 3,000 miles away, and of course we miss them. We have our friends 3,000 miles, we miss them, but we want to create some type of home away from home because as humans, we need each other. We need physical touch. We need quality time. We need whatever our language of love is, we need that from one another. So you want to find your community, and that's going to help you feel a lot more grounded in your decision for moving. Tip number 7, and I'm all about this, get all the money. Now, as I mentioned, save but don't stress. That was tip number 2, right? We want to save, but we don't want to stress. There are so many benefit programs. You need to check out the local DPSS, Department of Public Social Services, and they can help you out with either food stamps or SNAP cash, something to get you started when you first come here. Obviously, you don't want to be stuck on that for life. I'm sure that's not the plan. You want to come to California and you want to become abundant in your career and financially abundant. But if you find yourself struggling or you need a little help, don't be embarrassed. Go down to DPSS, get you some food stamps, and get you some SNAP cash to help you out along the way. And they also help you find housing if you have some trouble finding a place to live, you don't know anybody, and you're still in that phase of like, you don't have your community. Check out DPSS. They have a lot of services for homeless and low income individuals. Tip number 8, don't lose sight of your goal. And I feel like this is super important because you just moved to a new city, you want to travel around the place, you want to meet people. It's beautiful most of the time. It's easy to get caught up. So many distractions, so many things to help you get lost in the sauce, I like to say. You have to remember the reason why you moved here. You didn't take your butt from wherever you came from. Like, I didn't take my butt from New York City just to come here and sit down and go to the beach every day. Yeah, I moved here for the beach, but it's rewarding. It's a reward. So I have to check in with myself and say, Atika, what is your why? Why did you come here? So do that for yourself. Remember why you came here. Have your goals in sight. You don't have to read it every day. Whatever it is going to keep you on goal, on point with what you need to come here and accomplish. Use that. And that kind of brings me into tip number 9, which is evaluate your progress. So you can spend a long time in a place and get lost, forget your why, as I mentioned earlier, the reason why you said, I can't do this no more. I'm leaving New York City. I'm coming to LA. But why? Okay. And you need to check in with yourself. If it's 3-month check-ins, 6-month check-ins, whatever that is, check in with yourself and celebrate your small victories. That's important to remember. I did that. I did this, of course, okay? But also, go ahead and check the list. What did I say I was going to do within that time? Did I do that? Okay, don't beat yourself up about not doing it. But now that we've admitted it, we didn't do it. So now what are we going to do? We're going to do it. That's super important just to kind of keep you on track and allow you to feel good about this new move, this city. You're excited. Let's go ahead and crush these goals. And the last and final tip number 10, don't give up. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. And stay strong, seriously, because it gets hard. Nobody said it was going to be easy. You just uprooted your whole life and moved however many thousands of miles away from what you knew for your life up until this point. So it's not going to be easy. But if you check in with yourselves, celebrate your small victories, remember to plug in your community, remember to take all opportunities that present themselves and learn from each experience, which is what you're going to do. That's growth. That's life. Not giving up is the biggest takeaway, because all of the other tips don't mean anything if you're going to just give up halfway. So 3 years later, I'm still in California. I came here not knowing what the heck I was going to do or how the heck I was going to do it, but I made a lot of small victories, and I'm proud of me throughout the time. It hasn't been easy, and I'm sure it will continue to have its hardships. That's this thing called life. We got it. We here. But allow yourself to fight for yourself. And that's Teek'S Tips. I'm Atika, and I aspire to inspire. Thank you for tuning in to Teek'S Tips, and I hope you tune in next time for episode 2. Peace, guys.
1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. It's Teek'S Tips. It's Teek'S Tips. It's Teek'S Tips. It's Teek'S Tips. Hey, check me out.